sack. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again to the 35.
Hungry dogs run faster.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Having Juice with OJ. I know it's been a while. We haven't even been here since the Super Bowl, Juan. Who won the Super Bowl, bro?
Hey, baby. How about them birds, man? How about it?
How about the birds?
Blowout, belt to ass, whole thing. That was a great time. It was awesome. It was stressful to watch, but I don't know. There's something about, like, as the game got closer that I just felt more and more confident about it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, after that first offensive pass interference, you get a little nervous that refs might be taking this thing back over. But I think the calls were kind of wishy-washy the whole game. I don't want to sit here and, like, act like the Eagles didn't benefit from some calls. But end of the day, when it's, 34-0 at one point, you can't really say anything about the refs. Like, you just got outplayed. Jalen did his thing. You try and make Jalen beat you, and he does beat you. And that's what happens, man. It's football. I kind of agree with some of the takes that if you play that game 10 times over again, like, there's a different result than in 9 times. But I think we were the better team. I think we were the better roster. And that day specifically, we outcoached them. I say we as if I was playing, but
No, that's your squad. You're part of it.
Eagles coaching staff outcoached Andy Reid, which I can't say I would have thought would happen, but Fangio put together a great game plan. Andy Reid just completely abandoning the run, vintage Andy Reid. But yeah, it was a great time. We had a ball in this city, as you know.
Yeah, the city erupted. I mean, the parade itself was crazy. The day that they won, City Hall was filled. Bro, you couldn't move, bro. I was like in the middle of that, John. I was like, bro, I just want to get back to the crib at this point. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot of energy down there. But yeah, the game was not a game anybody really fully expected. I mean, people said it was either the Chiefs win close or it's a blowout by the Eagles. Did you agree with that?
I think I did agree with that. I could sense, when you look at those rosters, there's really 2 positions that you can say the Chiefs are better than us at. Quarterback being one of them, and then you could honestly debate tight end at this point. They really neutralized Kelsey. So when you look at it from that perspective, you could see why a blowout would have happened, but nobody blows the Chiefs out. So I don't think anybody really thought – you might have had that feeling, but I don't think anybody thought that's how the game would go. But, man, I'm not complaining about a 40-22 Eagles win in a Super Bowl. It was electric.
Yeah, 1,000%. And on top of that, Saquon Barkley, highest paid running back of all time. Last year, we were talking about $13 million is a lot of money to give a running back. Do you think he's really changing the game for these bigger running backs coming up and all the young bulls?
I mean, yes and no. At the end of the day, you got to run behind an Eagles O-line, right? Like, some of these guys, like a Bijan, that Falcons O-line, it's not bad, but it's not going to get you to 2,000 yards, Yeah. So changing the market for sure, but I wouldn't say that it's going to become normal for running backs to be getting $20 million a year. It's just it's a rough position to play. There's so many of them out there. Everybody wants to be a running back growing up. So, you see some of these younger guys that are probably looking to get paid. Like a Bijan's the main one that I can think of off the top of my head. But I wouldn't say $20 million is going to be like the normal. I say, like James Cook wants $15 million a year. You were in a 3 running back situation where,
doesn't really make sense.
No, like touchdowns wise, yes, but it doesn't really make sense for us to pay you $15 million a year when we have 2 guys behind you that also produced. So, happy for Saquon, all-time leading, rusher in a single season. Great job for the boys. And he deserved that money. He deserved to get paid.
Somebody else who just got paid on your roster, Zach Bond.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I think that was definitely necessary, and I think he cemented it with that Super Bowl play that he had. I was listening to 94.1 the other day, and it was before the signing, and they were like, would you rather pick Myles Garrett or Zach Bond? Which one do you want? Do you think Myles Garrett is still an option after signing Zach Bond to that much money?
You got Howie Roseman making calls. I think he's still an option.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like when you see somebody like a Zach Bond that you truly develop into an all-pro linebacker, it's hard to not pay him.
Yeah, for sure.
Historically, Howie doesn't pay running backs. He doesn't pay linebackers, and he just did both of those. So they obviously feel something special with Zach Bond. It also shows me that I think Fangio is going to stick around for a little bit. He's getting a bit older, but obviously they have a connection there that works and fits well with the team and with the city. So I'm cool with paying Zach Bond. He got a lot of money, but a lot of it's guaranteed, so the cap hit's probably not as bad. I haven't looked fully into the numbers, but now you pay guys like that. You pay guys that become the heart and soul of your team. That's exactly what Bond did.
Do you see any more defensive changes that you would want for this squad?
I mean, we already saw Slay leave. I don't know if I'd bring Slay back. Slay's kind of running his mouth a little bit right now, and I always just find that like as a distraction. This new media age, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with players creating their own narratives and whatnot. But when you become, bashful and kind of disrespectful to your teammates, the guys you just won a Super Bowl with, it gets a little hairy. I'm cool with Coop, Q. See what Ringo has. I've always liked Ringo. If you want to bring back Isaiah Rodgers, you want to draft another corner, I'm fine with that. Slay's probably gone. And then you're probably going to lose Milt and Josh Sweat in free agency. Kind of cool with that too. You let Nolan Smith take the reins. Jalex Hunt showed you he can do what he does. And yeah, from there you just kind of grab another D tackle. Moro Ajomo had a good season this year. Maybe he steps into that Milton Williams role. 49ers are going to cut Javon Hargrave. Maybe you bring him back, or maybe you just draft another guy and hope he develops, because the draft records over the last couple seasons have been great. So I'm not too worried about drafting a bust at this very moment. But yeah, I think that you're going to probably lose 2 of your starters, and it is what it is. That's the nature of the game when you win a Super Bowl.
On top of just those signings, offseason trades and extensions have been happening throughout the entire league. It's been fun to see. One that I want to highlight right away is the Texans getting Christian Kirk. They're absorbing all the money that he was owed for this year, which I believe was about $15.5 million. Do you think this helps them out in terms of like their injuries' sake that they've had this year?
For injuries, no. In terms of your receiver room, I think it does. I like Christian Kirk a lot. I think he can kind of create a safety blanket for CJ. It's always nice when you're going to release somebody and then you can get a little bit of an asset. And I know it's only a 7th-round pick, but I think Christian Kirk is better than anybody you're going to get in the 7th round. So I'm cool with that. I think it does help them receiver-wise. But, yeah, you've also just got a room that refuses to stay healthy.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I was thinking. Texans, nothing hurts adding another weapon to a young quarterback in this league. I mean, any quarterback, really. So I do like him going over there and giving him that sure-handed catch. I would say Christian Kirk is, even though he's fucked me in fantasy year in and year out. But congratulations to the Texans on that signing. On top of that, you've got DK Metcalf, potential landing spots.
Yeah.
Where do you think he could go to, and who do you think is best fit for him?
Best fit, I think, is Green Bay. I think you get Jordan Love, a major receiver like that, and you can kind of see his game take off a little bit. Dobbs is another guy that can't stay healthy. Jaden Reed is good, but he's not like your ex-receiver that's going to go out and win one-on-one balls on the outside. Watson, another guy that's probably going to miss a lot of the year with a knee injury. So I think the Packers are a great fit. I think the Patriots will end up getting one of these receivers because they got to get Drake May somebody. Kendrick Bourne being your number one receiver is not going to cut it. So I could see that as a potential landing spot, but from what I saw, he wants to win now. So I think the Packers are his best fit.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. This year, going into this year, the Packers were kind of looked at it with high hopes. Jordan Love came off of a second half season just absolutely blowing people out of the water. A good playoff run against the Cowboys. Then last year, it was kind of upsetting. I feel like their receiving core really didn't step up, and nobody really found a solidified wide receiver one due to a lot of injuries, obviously. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think DK would be a great fit for them. Two other places that I've seen mentioned were the Chargers and the Bills. I don't know how much it would really help the Bills, in my opinion. I think it might stunt some of the younger wide receivers' growth because Josh Allen has shown that him having like a Stephon Diggs and other players of that caliber at wide receiver one, a diva, some would say, has caused him issues in terms of passing to them too much instead of finding the open man. So I don't fully agree with the Bills one, but if you're going to a contender, DK, that's a good one.
I like the Chargers fit too, actually. That works really well. You put him and Ladd together. I think Quinn Johnson is. I think he gets
Kind of buns.
He's kind of buns, but
Kinda
also
buns.
he puts up these games sometimes. You're like, all right, this guy. I loved him out of TCU. Loved him out of TCU. It's kind of sad to see how he's not developed as a receiver, but I also don't think that he's a bust quite yet. I think he can turn his career around into something. So putting a DK there to kind of take some pressure off of Q, making him basically a wide receiver 3 in that offense. I think the Chargers could be a nice spot. Just Herbert's got the arm talent out of this world. It's just putting it together as a whole season, and especially in the playoffs. So I like that fit too.
Yeah. And then one thing that just recently happened that I thought was huge for this team was Deebo going to the Commanders.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this fit? Personally, I really like it. I think you give them another little toy. I think that's going to help them out a lot. What do you think about the Commanders now, especially in your division?
I mean, we talked about this. I think the Commanders have a really bright future. Deebo coming in is big for them. It's good.
Scary.
Like you said, it gives them another toy. Cliff Kingsbury is going to utilize that in the best of his abilities. You take a little bit of pressure off of Terry McLaurin. You let Deebo work underneath. You use him out the backfield. I think it's a good pick or a good fit for them. So it scares me a little bit, but at the end of the day, man, when you've got we're going to take it back to the Eagles. When you've got Q and Coop, not too worried about it, but I do think it's a great pickup to help Jaden Daniels too.
I'm with you. I mean, Jaden Daniels getting somebody who's as explosive as Deebo behind and also on the lines as a wide receiver, it's big for them. Somebody else that's big on the market right now is Cooper Kupp. This man was living and dying by the Rams, and I kind of feel bad for him the way that they're like, yeah, you can go seek it, and he's like, I don't really want to leave, blah, blah, blah. He's probably going to have to leave, Juan. How do you feel? Where do you think he'd go?
He's a tough one, man, because he's mostly going to be in the slot.
Yep.
He's getting a bit older. He's another one that's shown that he can't fully stay healthy. I don't know if the Bucs lose Godwin, I could see him going down to Tampa, working with Baker. I don't really know about Coop, man. I'm kind of torn between that. I think his best spot is still LA. Letting him work with Matt Stafford, Puka. I think that's the best fit for him. I'm not quite sure. I'm never against players getting their money, but when teams are just openly willing to move on from you, I always wonder why, especially when I feel like it is such a good fit. So I'm not quite sure on Coop. What do you got?
I have actually a couple spots I think Coop could go to. And like you're saying, he's getting older. He's just a sure hand catch. I can see him going somewhere to kind of complement another player like George Pickens.
Yeah.
I could see him going to the Steelers. They're a contender in a way. I mean, they play their hearts out. Last year, they had a pretty good season. Their issue is no quarterback, really. You put Coop into that situation, you might screw him up because you might have a running back as a quarterback. Somewhere I think that he could be used pretty well is potentially the Denver Broncos with Bo Nix. I could see Sean Payton. They say he's the QB guru, even though it's questionable sometimes. I could like him fitting in with a young quarterback like Bo Nix. Somewhere else I kind of had him see fit is potentially the Patriots. Like you said, the Patriots got to grab a wide receiver to help out Drake May. I mean, he's just over there with absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad. One more spot, he could serve as a wide receiver too behind CeeDee Lamb. Yeah.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. I think Dak likes to kind of check down a little bit and look over the middle, and Coop could definitely be somebody that, takes some ease off of CD as well. I like if for some reason he can't, if the Bengals can't keep both their guys together, I could see him going and compliment one of those guys in Cincinnati as well.
I would like that fit for him a lot.
That'd be cool. Him and Burrow would be nice. That Cowboys fit though is interesting to me. I kind of like that.
Yeah, would be an interesting one. Another contract that just happened. It's the highest paid non-quarterback.
Max
Crosby. Oof. He stays with the Las Vegas Raiders.
That's interesting.
How do you feel about that one? Do you think that's just a money grab?
100% a money grab.
Gotta be.
100% a money grab. And I just said, I'm cool with athletes getting their money. I think every athlete should capitalize on what they're worth, but also at what cost, right? Because I just don't see that team competing in these next. It's a 3-year deal, right?
Yeah.
Don't see them really competing in this 3-year window. I could see that being like all right, I'm here, I signed, now get me out of here kind of thing. But it also just makes it interesting for a lot of these other guys, like Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson that's looking to get traded. He's just kind of set that market to where $30 million now for an elite edge rusher is the market. And I think that's going to cause some issues with some of these guys that want to go other places.
I'm with you. I think Max Crosby, you got your money. Good job.
Yeah, good for you, man.
Good job. I mean, never going to doubt you for that. But you could have went to a contender, Brody. You could have caught some dubs somewhere else for maybe a year or two. Instead, you kind of stuck. Maybe you like the Las Vegas lifestyle, my man.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But
that's
he's
the
sober,
only...
right? Like, he can't even really go out and do anything in Vegas. Like, that Vegas is known for, at least, right?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
But, yeah, somebody like a Max Crosby, I think, would have been a great fit for the Eagles, especially if you lose a Josh Sweat. I think Howie's cool with paying these guys, but $30 million a year for somebody that he's great, don't get me wrong, but he's also had a little bit of injury problems. He's getting a bit older. I worry about that.
What do you think, Myles? What do you think the cost of getting Myles Garrett would really be for you guys? Because I feel like, to me, I feel like you guys got to make a big move because defenses don't really stay number one year after year. So how do you think you could revamp that with Vic?
Well, for Garrett, you're probably looking at least obviously a first. From everything I've seen, a first, a third, maybe a player, somebody like a Bryce Huff who
didn't really do anything.
Did
for
nothing.
You guys.
Was literally inactive for the Super Bowl. Give them a little pass rush that maybe he's good, maybe he's not. He was great with the Jets. I don't quite know what happened with the Eagles. Send them a Bryce Huff, a first and a third. Maybe that gets it done, but you still have to pay him. Right, he wants his money. I think he's making like $19 million or something this year. So I don't quite know what it's going to take. I feel like, for me, for a guy like Myles Garrett, I'm cool giving up the draft picks. Eagles are in a window right now where most of your draft picks are going to be later in the first round anyway. It's not like you're really pulling in major studs like that, and if you are, it's because your scouting team is great. But trade those picks away, bringing in Myles Garrett, and pay him. I think that I agree. You're going to lose some edge rush. You're going to lose some D-line help. And making a splash like that definitely helps. I think Myles Garrett, when he's healthy and he's on his game, is a top 5, if not top 3 edge rusher, if not the best.
And people are just scared of the name out there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you hear you got to line up against Myles Garrett, you got a game plan.
Yeah.
Got a game plan big. I'm with that. Do you have any other big offseason trades that you've seen that we have not named, Juan?
I think it's interesting what the Bears are doing. The Bears are trading for veteran O-linemen to kind of get some help for Caleb Williams, and I don't know if that's really the right way to go about this. You're trading for veteran guys that are proven and have been good players in this league, but he still doesn't really have like the tackle help. These guys are aging. How long are they going to be there? Is he going to be able to build with this offensive line? So I find that a little interesting. I'm not mad at giving up these late round picks like we're talking about. It's assets like that come and go. So I'm interested to see what the Bears look like this year. I thought Caleb had a pretty solid rookie year. I think he got a lot of shit for being on a very mediocre team with aging receivers and a very, very bad O-line. He's got a new coach, new whole coaching staff. So I'm interested to see where that goes because, I just don't know if grabbing older veteran guards is going to be the way to really keep Caleb healthy.
I'm with you. Old veteran guards will only get you so far.
Yeah.
You kind of need the young studs with their feet under them and, who are willing to ride or die by this guy behind them. And Caleb Williams, although didn't have everything that everyone thought he was going to have this year, I mean, when you're getting chased down after like 1.5 seconds of the ball being snapped to you, you're kind of screwed. You can't go under center anymore. Pretty much stuck in the gun.
And like I said, your receivers are old too. Keenan's not getting the separation that he was. DJ Moore still had like 90-something catches this year, which is great for that offense. But, I'm interested in that. Also, the Chiefs moving on from Thuney that is interesting to me. He was like the heart and soul of that, the Chiefs O-line. And got bullied a little bit in that Super Bowl game.
Just a little bit.
Also, he did what he had to
Everyone
do.
got bullied on
Yeah.
that fucking O-line, though.
He had to do what he had to do to help that offensive line out. So he went from, interior to outside playing tackle, and it's not an easy thing to do in the NFL when you've got Josh Sweats and Nolan Smith and, these up-and-coming Jalen Hunts that are coming after you, and they're hungry.
Definitely scary. Anything else, brother?
I think, to the Miles point, I think he's either an Eagle or Commander. I think those are the two landing spots for him. I think the Commanders are really going to go all out. They've got cap space.
Commanders definitely got cap space.
They got cap space. They just released Jonathan Allen. So I think they're going to be looking to grab some edge help, and he's the best one available. So I think the Commanders come away with Garrett or Hendrickson. But I think the Eagles also make some sort of move to get an edge guy.
Yeah, I definitely believe they should. I think it would definitely help you guys out.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for hopping in and talking about some offseason trades with me and Juan. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know. Who do you like? Who do you think should go where? Do you think Max Crosby should have stayed a Raider? All right, see you guys next week.
In trouble. He's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again to the 35.
Hungry dogs run